Guess who's going to dog care today? Cece's gonna go to her cousin's house, so it's easier for the whole bathroom breaks and stuff at lunch because mom is on her way back to California. It is day 12, and I hope you're having a great June so far. I can't believe it's already halfway through. I better let her out before she goes nuts. Okay, so day is done. Did the gym and got some pretty tough news. I had said my family was going down to California for some family stuff, and that's because my uncle, we found out that he was going to go into hospice. He's only 69, but he has not been well. And so he was supposed to go into hospice, but this morning I got a text saying that he passed away last night. So I don't want to say that I'm okay about it, but I think that I've made my peace with it. We've known for a while that this was an eventuality. And I'm going to have my grief. It's just that right now it doesn't seem real. And I just kind of had to keep going. I had to get going to work, and I had to manage a whole bunch of first graders today. We had a great time at the woods. That was fantastic. We had some rough times during math. Math is the bane of my existence with some students, but we were able to pull it together later on throughout the day. And it's a wonderful group of kids. It was just hard. It's the end of the school year. And I'm sure my energy was a little bleh. I'm going to keep going about things the way I've been planning to, because I'm still going to do this daily vlogging. I don't yet know what the plans are for the funeral. We won't find out for a few days yet. So, that's something that's happening right now. It's very real. And just want to be honest about where that's at. If my energy is a bit subdued, it's a big thing. It's my mom's younger brother. And I feel like we're all dealing with it in our own way. And for me, I'm a bit numb, a bit numb at the moment. But like I said, I've known this is going to happen for a while. So made a bit of peace with it. So I'm going to go home. I got to pick up Cece from my aunt's house. And then I'm going to continue on with my day like I normally need to. Get my next vlog out and do my reading and see. I might be able to finish my book today. I'm not sure. But I'll keep you posted if there's anything to post. Don't mind the buzzing because my computer's working hard to render day 11. But I was editing that video and I was saying, I'm not understanding at the moment why this book only got an average rating of 3.46. It's got 7,695 ratings, which isn't very high, and 1,800 reviews. The people that I'm friends with who've read it have either given it a 5-star or 4 stars. So nobody that I know that's read it has given it a really low rating. I kind of want to look for some of the lower ratings and see what people said. Somebody said, "Eek, this ended up being so disappointing. The blurb promises darkness, monsters, gods. What we get is pieces of other people's stories woven together by a really thin premise. A corruption is taking over and only Lita has the power to save the world. Eye roll." Okay, I think it's done well, but another 1-star says, "I feel very frustrated by this book. As a gothic hoe, I was very excited for this. Unfortunately, it did not live up to my hopes." They didn't feel like it feels gothic. I'd have to think about that in depth, like the criteria of a gothic novel, and see if that then of course would be a bad way to describe this book. I don't think I thought about it that deeply. I feel like it's atmospheric and written a little more poetically the way that gothic novels are written, and focuses a lot on the settings, which gothic novels do. There are definitely a lot of aspects of gothic novels, but that's the only ones I can think of right now without putting a list together of what a gothic novel means. This person who gave it a 1-star said it was difficult to like the protagonist because it was all tell and no show, and that they didn't really like our main character at all. They thought it was a flat main character and the dude was just a brooding, dark dude. Someone says I really should have DNF'd this one. I kept reading for the gothic atmosphere and the references to Beauty and the Beast and Hades and Persephone, but Lakesedge feels so unpolished and incomplete. It was the first book in a series, but they felt like there were too many plot holes and too many things left unresolved. And maybe I won't realize that until we get to the end of the book, because at the moment I'm not seeing that, but, you know, I'm still just over halfway. The plot and romance are so repetitive. The main character is incredibly frustrating. I guess this main character was annoying, like a lot of people feel main characters are in YA fantasies. The other characters were underdeveloped stereotypes. Well, I guess I could see that a little bit. Yeah, people really don't like the main character. Annoying and sometimes TSTL. What's TSTL? Pointless repetition, underdeveloped world building, little to no explanation for the corruption. Annoying heroine, set up twice because it bears repeating. Lukewarm at best. Too long and repetitive, boring, characters are just kind of there. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with a lot of these comments, at least not for me. I'm not feeling that. I hated this so much. I wish I DNF'd it. Wow. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like the characters. Annoying martyr complex for the main character. Strangely laughable melodrama. This was not good. Another person saying it has some gothic elements, but not enough to be considered a true gothic novel. Slow, sad, and daunting. The most boring, uncreative book I have ever read. This was just so bad. I'm sorry. Okay, well, annoying, the main character being really annoying. Annoying AF. Very repetitive and juvenile. Is it repetitive? I don't know that repetition in a book bothers me as much as it bothers other people. I've noticed that before when people just have a hard time reading certain books because they're like, oh, it's so repetitive. And then I'll read the same book and that doesn't bother me, or I just don't notice it as much as other people do. And so that could be a me thing where it might be a book that is very repetitive and I don't mind the repetition because for some reason it works for my reading taste. I don't know. The main character doesn't seem that annoying to me. I've read much worse YA main characters. She's a little frustrating and her need to be a martyr is a little frustrating, but aren't all teenage main characters that way? Like, they're all martyrs because they believe they're invincible. Like, that's nothing new. And that's nothing all that new for people of that age range. Like, it's not that surprising to me. So yeah, that was interesting just to see what people think, because I actually think the writing is really well done. I think there are gothic elements to it. Is it a true gothic novel? Probably not if I were to list every single criteria of a gothic novel. But I think sometimes we're just too critical. If it gives you gothic vibes, it's gothic enough, you know? And well, yeah, it is a little slower paced. Maybe people think it's boring. That is a hallmark of gothic novels. If you've ever read true gothic novels, they're usually slower paced, and some people might find them boring because the information in them is much more atmospheric, much more about the setting, the scenery. It's all about setting a tone. And yeah, that can be boring for some people. So I don't know. I think this was a fun little thing to check out because I was really curious. Like 3.46, that's a low average rating. So some people didn't love it, but you know, that's okay because I'm enjoying it. And hopefully I don't see any really dire plot holes throughout the end of it, because that would be a bummer. And maybe, you know, of course it's the first book in the series. Maybe there are things that are going to get picked up again in the second book. Who knows? Okay, so I'll be honest, I'm not really in the mood to read tonight. I've got 35 minutes left. I'm currently on page 218 and just not feeling like it. So I'm going to do what I haven't done yet this week. Luckily this week I've been pretty good about getting my hour in every day, but I'm going to roll this one over, the 35 minutes over to tomorrow, and just add my hour on top of that. I think tomorrow will be a better day for reading. And so I think I'm going to sign out here. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe so you can see what happens tomorrow. Will I get my hour and 35 minutes of reading done tomorrow? It's a Thursday, so it's a shorter day for the students. So maybe I'll bring my book with me to work if I run out of things to do work-wise, because then it's just like teacher prep time. All right, have a good night.